Have you ever graded or rated your clients? This is always a really, really interesting exercise to do. And very often it's quite enlightening because it's very easy to go through business with a certain number of clients thinking that everybody's fine. Okay, some of them are better than others. Some of them are a bit of a pain, but everybody's fine. It's all okay. But actually, when you get down to that nitty gritty and you really start to dig into what makes a fantastic client, what are your bread and butter clients, and actually who doesn't really make the grade? Who should I be looking to offload? This is a really enlightening exercise to do for yourself. What I want to do with you today actually is I'm going to share the experience of one of my own clients and exactly how they do this, because I think this will really help you to see exactly how you can utilise a grading system for your own clients and just how enlightening, informative and useful it can be as an exercise. So the client I want to talk to you about is an accountant. So they have a team of people in the business, and what they have is their portfolio holders, who are their account managers, who are doing, let's say 90%, 80 or 90% of the work for those clients. They're the people in most contact with them, and they're doing the bulk of the work for them. And then things head off to the management team, who do the important meetings and all the checks and the oversights and the juicy bits like that. But what would be really easy in those circumstances is that the team, the front-facing team, can quite often have a very different perception of what it's like to work with a particular client than the management can have. And it could be that there are certain elements of a client which are a pain in the bum for one of those people and seamless for the other. So what this particular customer does is they actually rate each client in 5 different areas. And the team member gives their rating, and then the manager gives their rating. So they actually get to see whether they have any huge disparities in their perceptions of a customer. But they rate each customer in 5 areas. So they rate them in terms of timeliness. So how quickly does the customer provide their information? How quickly do they respond if they're chased or nudged or anything like that? So are they really easy to deal with in that sense? The next rating area is quality of records. So what is the quality of stuff that actually lands on your desk that you have to deal with from a customer? Does that make your job super easy, or actually is there a massive amount of backfill, data churn or research, or are you having to do a ton of work to fill in all the gaps that the client has left? The third area is attitude and communication. So essentially, what's the experience like of working with that customer? Are they a pleasure to deal with? Are they rude or demanding or just too direct? Do they respond to your messages, or do they just ignore you for weeks on end? So you have to chase them continually. So what does that whole kind of communication, relationship, attitude element feel like to you? Because that makes a massive difference to how enjoyable people are to work with. The fourth area is whether the client is paying the right fee based on the amount of time and the complexity of the job. Is it actually being charged for correctly? So it's always a very useful insight to recognise the clients who are being undercharged. Let's be honest, it's very rare that a client is being overcharged, but frequently they are undercharged. And then the fifth area that they evaluate on is whether the client pays on time. Again, that's a massive thing in terms of either supporting your cash flow or denting and damaging your cash flow. So what you can then do is, when you define those specific areas for you about what makes a great client for you, you can then use those ratings to help you actually highlight what a really great client looks like. That will allow you to make sure that those people are getting a great service from you. It would allow you to perhaps tweak your marketing so you understand exactly what kind of other great clients you really want to attract. But then what it also does is it helps you to highlight the 2, shall we say, lower bands of clients. There's a possibility that it puts in black and white a customer that you absolutely know you shouldn't be dealing with anymore, but you just keep letting them off, giving them an extra chance, making excuses, being too tolerant. And sometimes you just need that in black and white to kind of go, right, okay, it is so clear I need to ditch this client. But what you'll also more likely to find is that there'll be a bracket of customers who are decent but lacking in some way, shape or form. There's one thing they do, it's either what they send you is not very good, or they always send it a bit late, or actually it's just a bit of a pain in the bum to deal with. And if you just highlight that one thing, then what you can look to do is improve that area with that specific client. So you essentially move that client up through your ratings. They become a better client, they potentially become a more profitable client, they become a client who is much nicer and more enjoyable to deal with, all of which essentially helps your business to evolve, to be more enjoyable, more profitable. And what's not to love about that? So grading your customers can be an incredibly insightful and useful exercise. If it's something that you think sounds fabulous for your business, but you're not quite sure where to start and you need a little bit of help or clarity on that, get in touch with me at tailory.co.uk and let me help you.